Hey guys, it's Jenny with Art for Good. Do you ever wake up and make something totally random? Well, that is me with this abstract piece, and I'm going to show you how I made it today. I started with a very large canvas. This is a 48 by 36 inch canvas. And I used a series of colors just to get a base color down on the bottom of the canvas. So I'm using a medium magenta, I'm using some white, and then I'm letting that dry a little bit. So I'm starting to pour my liquid paint over the top of the canvas and letting it drip down. I'm using some neon orange here, and I'm also using some sky blue. This is going to be a little bit of a different tutorial in that I'm going to just show you some of the different things I use to make these markings to create this abstract effect rather than a step-by-step tutorial. I used things like a small comb, I used a craft stick, I used a ring that I happen to have, like a toy ring on hand. I used bubble wrap, a catalyst wedge with the texture piece. I used a Lego from my kids' Lego set to create these cool swirls. I even used paw prints from toys. Really anything you can think of that will make an interesting shape on the paint is what I used. I also used some other things like cups. You can see those are the rings on this piece. And spray paint as well, gold spray paint. So now that is dried, and I'm going to do the bottom portion. This is just a traditional kind of paint pour. I'm layering in some aqua and some neon blue. I'm going to stick with the same color palette as I used in the colors up top. I'm also using like a light blue here. And then some white. I'm going to put the actual colors and all of the sort of materials that I use to make this piece in the description below, so you don't have to worry about trying to go back and figure out what I exactly used for each segment of this piece. So I'm just using my palette knife as well as my hairdryer to cover the bottom of this painting. And then I'm creating little splatter effects by just dripping the paint around. You know, the whole sort of top portion of this piece was created with some cool drippy effects. And so I thought it would be nice to kind of add that element at the bottom as well. I just love how fun and beachy and kind of surf style this art is. I am one who believes that art should be very colorful and fun to look at, and this is one where you could literally spend hours just looking at all the little details up at the top. And I'm not one that has ever really done traditional abstract painting, right? I do fluid acrylic art. Of course, there's an abstract element to that, but this was really neat to try a different technique and see how I was doing at it, right? And how, layering dark markings over light markings to create sort of different movement in the eye. It was just a really good challenge for me. I would encourage you guys to try something like this every now and then. Now I'm going in with some neon pink, just for consistency a little bit with the top. So now I'm going in with a little spray paint, a gold spray paint. I just want to sort of mimic the gold that I used in the top portion, which is the same spray paint. So I put a little bit down. And now I'm going to add some depth by putting some dark colors towards the bottom. It's the same Prussian blue phthalo that I used in the markings at the top. And I'm just going to help create some of this roundness in this wave, as well as it kind of balances the painting out because it connects the eye to those dark pieces up at the top. Just kind of trying to blow those out a little bit. Because I used the spray paint over the acrylic, it kind of stops it from moving as much. So if you're gonna try that technique, just be aware that once you kind of spray it, the paint really stays in place. You can't manipulate it as well. Now I'm going in with a little dark spray paint. This is just black spray paint. Again, creating this shadow in this dark, in the bottom corner and along the bottom ridge here. And just making sure all the corners are covered. It's way easier to spend a couple minutes doing this now than it is to try to match paint colors later to cover the sides. All right, so now I'm gonna add a little more white. You'll see I got my stool so I could get some good reach over this large canvas. Now I'm going to put a little more neon blue as well. I'm just kind of creating layers and layers of different shapes, different colors, nice contrast. And that's sort of what abstract is really all about. I'm just blowing the paint as much as I can. Again, that spray paint has made it a little tricky, so it's not as perfect of a shape in this wave. Going back in with some dark to kind of create dimension in those lighter areas as well. Also creating little lines with the dots here. It'll kind of make it look a little bit more like motion in this wave. All right, and this is the final piece. I just love how kind of funky this turned out. It's so fun to look at, and I'm actually going to use it as sort of the feature piece in my upcoming spring art fair. If you're interested in my other abstract art compositions, I'll leave you with a playlist right here. All right, that's all the time I have for today. I'll see you next time.